Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this Friday morning. Have a great show lined up. First, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin Road and Highway 77. Come by, check out all the programs they have there. School's getting ready to get started. You still got time to get in there and get you some classes going. High today, right at about 92. It's just been hot all week. Low 78. Water temperature has hit all-time high for the summer, 86 degrees. It's popped up there pretty high. So this is going to be some of the hottest water we've had all year round. Okay, take a look at our river readings. The Apalachicola, Bluntstown, talked about this yesterday, just real level. At 2.9, right at 3 foot. It's staying steady for the weekend. I know you folks down there are getting ready to fish at Howard Creek. Choctahatchee River at Caryville, we're reading a 3.6, and it's got a slight drop to it. It's not a fast drop, but just a nice slight drop to it right there. We're going to go ahead and do our fish and game forecast at the beginning, at the top of the show here, because we'll still have a fishing forecast at the end. It's always brought to us by Mark Coward of Edgewater Beach Realty, 832-6000. Our times today, about the middle of the day and middle of the night. We're looking at 10:42 to 12:42, and tonight from 11:12 to 1:12. Okay, on our tide chart, brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery, we talked about the excellent moving tide this weekend. We're talking about a low tide was first going to be high at 7:53 this morning. It's going to be low at 6:30 tonight. But look at that drop off, a fast dropping tide in the afternoon, and it's coming in fast this morning and tomorrow morning. So you want to get some good tides. It'll be a good time to do it. All right, let's take our break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's get started with some pictures. We've had some good pictures sent in here in the middle of the week and got them together, shown to you this morning. The first one, first picture this year of the big buck. I forgot what we named him, Jeff. Remember what we named him last year? That's at the state park, and he's big again this year. We're going to have a lot of pictures taken of him. He's in velvet right now. Great picture there. Okay. Next picture, you want to see a big amberjack. This is an 80-pound, it's about 80-pound amberjack. On the right is one of my former students, Garrison Rosie, and also with Corey Freed on the left there. And that they want a Kelly girl, the Kelly family. They've been fishing here in Panama City a long time. Good job there, Garrison. Glad to see you put them in. Okay, tarpon fishing. This is the peak of the year for tarpon fishing. Excellent fishing right now. This is over in Apalachicola. This is Brett Martina with a nice tarpon there. So he's not taking them out of the water. He's going to unhook them, and you really don't want to take them out of the water even now. People will hold them side the boat and everything, and everybody recommends just do just like Brett's doing right there. Okay. Bill Laminack does a lot of fly tying with all the material, and he does an excellent job. This is a little freshwater crayfish they just sent. This is, that's an exact replica. Bill has some really nice flies that he ties, and the new material over the years has really helped out too. Okay, good replica there. We talked about next weekend, of course, the Buckmaster Expo 2014. Cast and Called Outdoors will be there. I have a table. I'll run by and see them. It's free admission to this thing. I'm going to run up there. It's going to be my first trip. We'll run up there for today. And, okay, here's another. Brianna Pitts. My little girl graduated from Mosley in June, and she's fished all summer. And nice catfish there, Brianna. Good job. All right. All right, to send a picture. This was this past Saturday. I got to fish a little bit. And I had to, sometimes I have to lay the camera down and just fish. I'm actually trying to catch them. It was one of those big kings. Well, our biggest one was right at 22 pounds. So we were in like 11th place on Saturday. And, all right. The center of a donut is 100% fat-free. So on the way to work this morning, you want to get you a donut. Don't feel guilty about getting some donuts, taking them to work. I like a donut every now and then. All right. This is, move on down here. This is Mitch Coleman's first mate, Bo Blue. A 57-inch king they caught this week right out of Mexico Beach. That is a nice one right there. And sometimes you don't get them aboard. Sometimes the shark gets the best of them. And that happens fairly often. It happens more than you realize it. Okay, next one here. This is John Cosper. John's on the right, a St. Andrew boy. He's a fishing guide now. And John, family from St. Andrew, been there a long time. and a nice redfish. They caught, had a group from Georgia down. And in fact, here's a mess of fish they caught. Okay. Bridge fishing has been okay this week. This is Lynn Haven Bridge up there, the old Bailey Bridge. A lot of guys fish off that, and girls. This is some small Jack Crevalle caught up there. Kimberly Stewart sent that picture in. Okay. How about a big grouper? Jonathan Simmons over there at Bill Kramer Chevrolet. That's a good grouper for the week. See how calm the water's been? It's really been nice. And someone that wanted to ID this fish. This ugly fish has been called two things: oyster fish. Some people call it a mother-in-law fish. Deckhands call it a mother-in-law fish, but call it Tyndall Bridge. Okay. And let me mention this too. I'm going to get to it later. On the right, Tuesday, August the 12th, which is next Tuesday, Holiday Inn Select. This is going to be the Gulf Council Fisheries, talking about the red snapper Amendment 40, and a lot of red snapper information there. We're going to talk a lot more about it in detail. I've got to get more information on it myself, but they're only going to be like at 6 places, from Texas all the way through Florida. One of them is going to be Panama City. So make plans if you're interested in red snapper fishery. Make plans to go ahead and be there on August the 12th. I'm going to try to be there too if I can. My plate gets pretty full at times. Okay, I want to talk about that's that Amendment 40. We're going to talk about it in detail on Monday, that red snapper Amendment 40. Basically, I can tell you this, that have two categories: the commercial, and the commercial people are going to get 51% of the catch, and the recreational is going to get 49% of the catch. Now, included in that recreational now are people still that do it for hire, like the head boats and the charter boats, and they're talking about cutting that in half. That 49% cut in half. So if that's the case, recreational fishermen like you and I will get 24 to 24.5% of the red snapper out there, and it's sort of it's really a mess. And you almost have to have, like Scott Lindsay was talking about, you have to have a Charleston naval attorney to explain this amendment to you. It's so complicated. So I'm going fishing tomorrow with some people, and we're going to talk about it on the boat. And I'm going to have more information about it on Monday, but you might want to plan to go to that meeting if you can. A tip of the day. I hope you enjoyed the video yesterday fishing with Captain Rip over in Cajun country. And you saw, first of all the boats that were there. We had about 15 boats in that area, and everybody had four people on board sometimes. And you can count the captains, so sometimes 5, so it's say 20 to 25 fish, redfish per boat. And they don't cull many. I mean, if they got that 12-inch limit, if it's 12 inch, they'll keep them. And they've always done that generation after generation. So if you have 20 people, 20 fish, that's 20 fish a boat, and you have 15 boats, and sometimes 25 fish a boat. That's 300 or 400 fish a day. They're getting off that spot out there, and that's just the way they've always done it. So be aware of that. I do the tip of today I want to give. It sort of comes from fishing with him and talking. I talked to him the whole time. Had a great time. Interesting guy. Fishing with dead shrimp. But I noticed he had 2 rods on his rod rack right there in the center, and he had a gold spoon. And I was talking about it before. He said, "Coach, you know how to talk. I can't replicate it." He said, "Coach," he said, "I don't ever get on my boat without a gold spoon." And that's tip of the day, and I'm the same way too. We've all got a collection of gold spoons, and a lot of times we come out, all these fancy lures come out, everything, but we forget about that basic fundamental gold spoon. And I bet I can honestly say that I know without a doubt there's been more redfish caught on a gold spoon than anything over the years by all the fishermen combined, including myself. So that's the tip of the day. Don't forget that gold spoon, and don't forget to use it sometime. All right, and also, I've got some complaints from some other fishermen and all about people running up on them, and it's hot, and people out there fishing a couple hours, it's hot, and temperatures are short and everything, and it's like I've said before, I really feel like this rule of thumb is excellent, which everyone would adopt it. Try to stay a football field length away. Okay, everybody knows about the length of a football field. If you see somebody fishing down there, don't get within a football field length of them. And if they're drifting or poling this way and you see them, don't get out in front of them and cut them off, but people are doing that. So just have some common courtesy. The vast majority of outdoorsmen are like that. There's always a small group that cares only about themselves and what they're doing. But the same way with scalloping, I'll give you a little bit of room out there, and we're going to talk about scalloping a little bit later. But just a football field length away. All right, let's go and take our break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us on this Friday. I'm getting a lot of calls on this, a lot of emails, a lot of interest on this. This is going to be Wednesday night, next Wednesday night. A free seminar. It's going to be over Legendary Marine. It'll be Mark and Michael Cowart there. And like I say, I've got some good feedback on it. What we need to do now, and I've told the people, let's look at it. They're asking some questions on time. Okay, August the 13th at 6:30 at Legendary Marine, right out there on Thomas Drive. Right as you pass Captain Anderson's and go across the Grand Lagoon is there on your left. But what we need to do is call Miss Martrain, and her number is 271-8950, and reserve your spot. Ask for Miss Martrain. Tell her you saw it on Panhandle Outdoors, or we're going to have a group, I know, we're going to have a good group of folks out there, and it's going to be all kind of free giveaways and free prizes, of course, and some refreshments, and just a good afternoon, about an hour and a half of good fellowship with some fishermen and get some good information. These two guys, father and son team, I fish with them, and they can fish, and they know a lot about red fishing. So don't forget to do that. Okay. Now I want to read the. I got an email. Speaking of emails from viewers, this is one of my emails here from one of the viewers talking about a St. Joe boat ramp, and it is really a situation where people think it's died out, but it hasn't. Okay, charging $10. Okay, it says, gentlemen, this is a email one of our viewers sent to the mayor and the city commission over there in Port St. Joe, and I'm going to read it to you. Okay, I also have a recording on here I can play for you later. Gentlemen, thank you for making the decision to buy an annual pass to the state park, an easy one. Thanks to your greed-driven decision to charge $10 to launch at the Port St. Joe public boat ramp, and public in bold letters. I make several trips to St. Joe from Panama City each year, as do many of my friends and family. We have in the past waited until we get to your town to purchase gas for boats and for our boats and cars. We also buy supplies such as ice, drinks, and snacks, etc. We also often eat before and after our fishing and scalloping. However, since the sales taxes we pay on these trips mean nothing to you, we are making sure to make all our purchases in Mexico Beach, and we have vowed to spend nothing in St. Joe. On our last trip, we had 2 cars, had 2 boats, and 10 people. I'm sure Mexico Beach appreciated your recent decision, and I've also had several colleagues who feel the same way. This is a hot topic in the fishing community. It has been discussed on the very popular Panhandle Outdoors TV show, and it's still, I haven't been by the boat ramp the past 2 weeks, but I know when I did go by there, a lot of folks were still upset about it. So it's still a situation where we don't want to let it die out. We feel like I feel like that should be rescinded. I don't think it's fair. I don't think we should be doing that. Okay, another thing now. The summer, the August heat. I had a call from one of the viewers this week also. He's not catching a lot of fish, and the dog days of summer are usually here in the first week or two of August, and we talked about it before. And one thing that causes it, we get a lot of oxygen deprivation. A lot of the water starving for oxygen. A lot of times you get algae bloom in the water, especially in the fresh water, and especially in ponds. And sometimes if you don't get the air circulating and get some oxygen in there, you're going to get some fish die-offs. And it's very common to have fish kills in salt water and fresh water in August because of the heat and all, and the algae that gets in there. A lot of times it will suck up the oxygen and the nutrients in it, and it just kill off the fish. It's a natural occurrence a lot of times in most situations, and it's something really can't help. It's a part of the cycle of nature. So just be aware of that. We may have some of it. You don't really want to be around that area when you're fishing, because even the fish you catch is not going to be very healthy and all. So just try to steer away from it. And if it's fresh water, just move on down. Fortunately, in the river system, you have that river moving all the time. You don't have that big a situation. But these ponds and these lakes sometimes just get stagnant, and that would happen. Okay. Now I have right here. I was looking over. Remember at the beginning of summer, I made the summer to-do list and some things that we wanted to do in the summer with the kids and yourself and all. And I'm looking over it, and we're about to run out of time. And a lot of these things I have not done, or maybe you have not done. But one of the things that's going to be really good this time of year is crabbing. The crabs are fat and juicy this time of the year. And if you can get someone to go crabbing, and just walking along the beach sometimes late in the afternoon, or if you can, set out a crab trap. But it's a lot of fun with kids walking up in the bay system and all. Or if you got a boat, you go on a boat and just get out and start wading around. Those crabs will be up in the grass and they'll be darting around and have a crab. A kid loves to catch a crab, and so do grown-ups and all. And speaking of that, one thing kids love to do, and we just take it for granted a lot of times, is catching sand fleas. I had my grandson Mason out back in June, and just the two of us, and he had the best time late in the afternoon, and I was teaching him how to little two antennas to stick up out of the sand and got them to see them, and of course they hide. But then the fun thing is trying to when they're trying to catch them, and boy, he got really good at it later on. But it's a lot of fun. It's a game to them, and it's so much better than a game like this because they're running around back and forth, and they're out in nature and all. So just take them out and try to find some sand fleas. That's a lot of fun. The sturgeon are still jumping. I mentioned about going out to over toward Ebro and just sitting on the bridge and watch the sturgeon jumping, and they're still jumping. And the biologists still don't know exactly why. They have theories why they jump, and a lot of people say they're just jumping to get oxygen or jumping to just show off and all. But irregardless, they do jump, and it's spectacular. We talk about a tarpon jump, but very similar. Tarpon and sturgeon has the same kind of jump. They come out of the water and they're twisting their body, they're propelling themselves up a lot. So if you get a chance to do that. Flounder gigging is about to get in the full gear. I know over the summer we had early summer. You have a couple of seasons on. You have early summer flounder gigging, and then it sort of goes through the summer. And a lot of times it's just so hot and all. But now, as the summer starts ending, those flounders they've been eating in the bay all summer. They're fat and juicy, and they're getting ready to for the fall migration. Now it's not happened yet, but they're getting ready for it. So they're eating up a lot. So floundering would be excellent this time of year. Okay, have several more. We don't have enough time and all, but anyway, we're going to take our break and come back and do our famous Friday fishing forecast. Before we do though, we're going to do our drawing and see who's going to win the Tarpon Dock Seafood $20 gift certificate and the big red snapper. All right, the $20 is Tom Adams from the Funiac Springs. Got a lot of viewers up there in the Funiac Springs. Okay. Good job, Tom. And now the big red snapper. Can't catch one now, but you can go to Tarpon Dock Seafood and get one. And the winner of that is John Newman. Hadn't won before. John Newman. All right, congratulations. Let me write this down so I don't forget. We'll go ahead and take our break and come back for our famous Friday fishing forecast. All right, welcome back to the famous Friday fishing forecast. Glad you're with us. We're going to wrap up the week and all. It's been a great week on Panhandle Outdoors. Had some great videos, had some good times and all. I'm glad you've been able to share it. And let's talk about the fishing right now. And freshwater has been really well. I've done real well. I've been down to Halbert Creek this week, and they were catching them down there, and everybody's having a great time. I saw you can tell when they catch them when they're back there on the fish cleaning table cleaning them. So freshwater fishing is still excellent on the rivers, Choctawhatchee and Apalachicola. Tarpon, on saltwater side, tarpon fishing is really hot this time of year. You saw the picture earlier during pictures and all, and it's really good. And top three places now, of course, in Apalachicola Bay, there's several spots in there to go, and also out of Indian Pass, you can go, and over here in Bay County, right here at Crooked Island Sound, at the mouth of Crooked Island Sound, is a hot spot. And I've seen Justin Leake is really, and he and his captains have really done well on catching tarpon now. In fact, he's become specialized in catching tarpon, and he does an excellent job with it. Down in Carabel, starting with that end down there in Carabel, we had the big sea quarter tournament, and again, that $50,000 check was really just special to present to the Leukemia Research Foundation, and I'm just proud. I want to thank everybody down there for doing the job. Very proud to be a part of it, and they're very complimentary of us and our viewers and all about supporting them down there. Sort of a lot of Tallahassee and South Georgia people and St. Joe and Panama City people put it together. So, and interesting enough though, we thought the big kings, we thought everybody be catching 40 pounders, because last year the top 5 were 40 pounders and the winning king was right at 35 pounds. But a bunch of 20, 25 pounders. Okay, let's move up to Mexico Beach, St. Joe Bay. Let's go to Mexico Beach first. Well, we're right here at St. Joe Bay. We'll stop off there. Okay, Captain Blair Morgan reports a slow group about offshore, but flounder fishing is picking up a little bit in St. Joe Bay. Right there, nice catches in the sandy holes near the grass. and a sudden and strong storm. We talked about it twice this week now. That strong storm came in. It was coming, but what surprised everybody, that storm came in out of the east, okay? Really strong storm came in out of the east and blew everybody in this direction. Usually people are sort of looking off and prevailing this way, and this is what caught people by surprise. And they thought, and I go down there a lot, and a lot of times you look back over toward the inland area, and those storms stay there. They don't, I mean, 9 out of 10 times, but that one just kept on coming. So be aware of that. They left several boats stranded, several 911 calls. So some really scared people down there. Mexico Beach, Mitch Coleman's report out of Mexico Beach, right here. Mitch was saying on Floriday's adventures, the kings and lings is what they're catching. Big kings and good numbers of 20 to 25 pound cobia are taken while bump trolling. So that's a decent sized cobia. Most of the structure around 50 or 60 feet. Also, large sharks are around bait pods, some 9 to 10 foot long. Water's very clear and lots of bait on the buoy line. Bo Blue caught a king that measured 57 inches. We just showed that picture right there. So it's been really good. Let's go on into Panama City area. The West End, I got a viewer down in the West End. Talk about Lake Powell is really dead as far as fishing. Not many fish being caught. He's been 5 or 6 times and just hadn't caught anything. This time of year, tough fishing on Lake Powell is because of the oxygen deprivation we were talking about, and a lot going on. Now, offshore, it's been really slow on grouper also. Again, king mackerel is carrying these charter boat captains, and a lot of those are being caught. Also, they're catching some fish off of the jetty, someone told me recently. Bridge fishing, you saw the picture of the Jack Crevalle. Also, the West Bay Bridge is still holding those drum. You catch some, and the thing about fishing on a bridge, you get on a bridge and get in the shade, and that's always fun to do, especially these hot days. Okay, all right. And so be sure and go online. You can see this whole fishing report. You can see fishing time down here. Just go to Panhandle Outdoors. Also go to Panhandle Outdoors for YouTube. Jeff puts it on every day, and we're going to wrap things up. As always, we appreciate your viewership here at the show. We ask you to always try to do something for someone good for someone else today. Have a great weekend. Do some outdoor stuff, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.